Hey, John. Hi, everybody. Hey, Ozma.
Easy. And we are live.
Okay, yeah. My YouTube is behind for a little bit as well too. Yes, we're hello last. Isn't heaven washed with all pets I love and miss? It's false advertisement. Yes, because as referred to the title, dogs are good actually. To which I asked the question: do all dogs go to heaven, as it were, too? And so the
Short
comment
answer,
says yes,
no,
yes.
because there isn't a heaven. When we die, we all pass into the void of nothingness. Your hopes
Okay,
and dreams are
there's that.
lies.
We go into the proverbial ether, never to return.
So
That
so
or
moving
only
on.
dogs go to heaven. Because, dogs.
Okay, so where'd the cats go?
They don't. They sort of go through the gates and then go back through the gates and then go through the gates again, then back through the gates. And Peter's left standing there holding the gates open, waiting for the cats to go in and out and decide which one they want.
Mm-hmm.
That's a joke about how cats like to go outside, but then come back in, and then go back out, and then come back in.
I think they're honestly just wanting attention from their pets, the humans that provide them food and shelter.
Tide goes out. Can't explain it, huh?
Actually, we can. And that bald-fired racist fuck can shut the fuck up. And he did, because he got fired.
Wait, that was Carlson that said that?
No, that was the old racist fuck from
Bill
Fox.
O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly.
Bill O'Reilly.
The one who got fired before Tucker Carlson got fired.
The one that told his token black Republican to tell the other black kids to stop having sex.
No, that was Bill Cosby who said that.
Although, there's a scene where Bill O'Reilly does say that to a black person.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Or at least
Racist old white man.
He's like, stop having sex. Tell those black kids to stop having sex.
Was Bill O'Reilly trying to resolve the fatherless issues or the reduction of family values in the black community because Carl Benjamin Sargon Cobb would say it's because there are fatherless things that happens around, which is why there's a huge reduction in crime, and just Carl. The Sargon God, you don't know the thing is the context about the whole U.S. System as it were too, and it's more. It's not just just get married, fuckers.
As the honorary black token on this podcast, I can explain why he said that because there's a couple reasons.
It's because he was racist.
Obviously, these are people.
There's that.
Republicans hate sex, especially if it's done for pleasure. Obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And they also hate the idea of minorities having sex because that's more kids that are going to, I guess, be on welfare or something.
No, it's because it's more minorities existing.
Yeah.
Remember, half of eugenics is preventing brown people from existing. So that's why they forcibly sterilize brown people. The other half is making more white people exist, which is why they forbid abortion.
Although, to be fair, there were black people who were in favor of eugenics. E.B. Du Bois, for example.
Wouldn't be too surprising. Although I think W.B. Du Bois was less about eugenics. I think his was just about promoting the best of black people so that they can be the good token minority kind of thing. Model minority was what he was going for.
Oh yeah, model minority.
He was promoting historical black colleges and universities. It was less about eugenics and more about choosing the best among black people and promoting them so they can be leaders among the black community, I think.
Yeah, actually, in a way, you're right.
I
wonder if I would have been accepted in that. Probably not.
Column A, column B. You're one of the good autistic people. You can talk.
Well, I mean, yeah. Oh God, this sounds so ableist. I put it this,
We were in eugenics territory. It's all going to be bad here.
I put it this way, like I can talk to people. I don't know, because like I was actually like speaking of like talking to people, but like girls in this case, and no, this is about to turn into an incel thing, so don't worry. But I was actually like talking. There was like two instances yesterday because I did like I was like all over the place yesterday. I went to this planetarium show. Then I went to Comic Con. Then I went to go see the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie, which you can kind of see the poster of it right there above the Kim Possible T-shirt. But anyway, I was like talking to this black cosplayer, and apparently she had a Queen of the Damned Aaliyah cosplay that I didn't know about. When I asked her what it was, she kind of was like annoyed, I guess, that I didn't know. So I don't know, like at least that's how I read it. So like I don't know, social talking to people, like I don't know.
And she might have thought you were hitting on her like any number of guys probably did. Because as I remember from that movie, it was a very sexually alluring role.
Mm-hmm.
So she'd probably been dealing with horny guys all day.
I wasn't really hitting. Yeah, maybe. Well,
It's difficult to tell that sort of thing sometimes, but
her other black friends with her. Then there was like this other. Then at the ice cream shop, there was this other black woman that I was like talking to. I guess because like when I was eating, as I was ordering the ice cream, I guess I was trying to like do small talk, and I had said, "Oh, I just got done seeing the new Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie," and she says, "Not a fan. Like she's not a fan." Which is fine because I'm not really the biggest Taylor Swift fan either. But it was like it was a
But you
good,
like white girls.
but it was a good it was a good movie to watch. I don't know. And yeah,
Then my internet froze.
she was kind of nervous too. I don't know. Was I the asshole in this? I don't know.
hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, like, if you press people, like, because people have boundaries or whatever, especially if they're strangers, they don't necessarily know.
Well, I wasn't.
But like, if you say one thing and then they say something back, and you're kind of reading that they're uncomfortable, just like thumbs up, cool, whatever. Like, and that's fine. I don't think anyone's an asshole in that situation.
I wasn't making her feel uncomfortable. I was just talking, I guess. I don't know.
It's hard to say what topics might make people uncomfortable.
Well, and it's the thing of like, I don't know, whatever. The way you said it, I was getting the slightly the slightly uncomfortable vibe. That doesn't necessarily mean you're making her uncomfortable because you can't know with certain people's emotions always. And like,
she could have been tired. Maybe her feet were hurting. You know, she's like 6 hours into a shift. Maybe that's all that was going on. There's a lot.
Yeah, I mean, like I wasn't like I didn't lose any sleep, or I just was wondering. Like, okay. I mean, that's it. That's all I needed to talk about.
So Ozma's here to tell us about the Jews.
And like,
saying it that way, you are wow.
I've watched a couple of videos on Palestine lately, so I feel like as a white guy of Christian background, I am fully up to speed on the Jews.
just on one video?
Make sure
No, several, like two, maybe three.
I honestly couldn't, like, I was burned out, and I made, because, like, right now there's lots of propaganda going on, or whatever, and it's always more helpful to have good sources, and I did, like, an emotional decision type thing, and then I felt bad about it, and I'm just like, no, I just need to step away from all this stuff, and I know stuff continues to be bad. Stuff continues to be bad, and it's... Look, the Israeli government has slowly been taking over Palestinian territory for quite some time.
Let's see, since 1947. Yeah?
Yep.
Yeah, well, I mean, I heard about it first in, like, early 2000s. Like, 2000, I can't remember, 2005, I want to say. It is a book by someone who's, like, talking about it.
Yeah. Well, 1947, I think, was the expulsion of the Palestinians from most of current-day Israel.
Well,
maybe it was 48, something like that.
1947 when the petition was signed.
Well, when you talk about those things, I think you either talk about that day or someday in the 70s or whatever, depending on which you consider worse.
Yeah. Well, it's 75 years of doing to the Palestinians what the U.S. did to Native Americans over the course of a century and a half.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a bit closer to what was going on in South Africa. I mean, the reason it was called an apartheid state in the past is, well, because it reminded people of apartheid.
And the wall they've built, I can't remember what it's called, but as I understand, it's a Hebrew word that means separation. It's in a similar fashion to apartheid, which means apartness or separation.
Yeah, but also when Sophia was still alive, because she grew up in apartheid South Africa when she was still alive, and when she was seeing what they're doing, how it was like very controlled, like segregation of streets and stuff, like Palestinian people are only allowed to go this place, this place. This was like, I don't know, 3 years ago.
Didn't the U.S. support South Africa during apartheid because they thought that South Africa was against communism?
Yes. And also because we're racist.
No surprise. Any system like apartheid that, I mean, no surprise. No surprise.
Yeah, but also they when the Israeli government takes over a piece of territory, they consider it theirs. Like, it, houses. If a house is not in use, they can. There's just extra effort. Just take bit by bit a lot, and that's part of the reason why the Gaza thing is so bad, because you have people who, at least the last I heard, because I am a week off or something, I know at least a week ago there were bombing North Gaza, and it's very much like, if you leave the territory, you've left your home for good, or your home area. And then, I mean, to be fair, they were also bombing, ways to get from North Gaza to South Gaza, and then also bombing safe territories.
And hospitals. But, I mean, to be fair, those kids were really close to the fence. So, I mean, sins on both sides is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know I don't know. So, Zionism as a word. I also want to talk. You're one of our Jewish friends. This we're pure tokenism. So,
well, the thing is, so I'm not like super familiar.
I know that Zionism extends back to the 19th century. There was a Zionist movement hoping to retake Israel, to recolonize.
Late 19th century. Yeah. So when I thought it was complicated, and then I looked into it, and like, oh no, this is just colonialism.
It's pure settler colonialism.
Because there is, I mean, there's always been the desire for homeland, just like a place that is safe. But Zionism specifically just seems to be colonialism. I was making associations, and I could see how it could be complicated. But I think a lot of the complications are just the mental loops for justification or whatever, and different people wanted to find various ways to do it in a way that's okay.
It's kind of disappointing because they're bankrolling their own tragedy to cause another tragedy. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, the Jews have always been sort of like the Roma or the Kurds, an ethnicity without a homeland. And they had this historic link to a location. And they used that and religious justifications to say that they should have it back.
Well, specific Jewish people during that time, because there were always anti-Zionists among ultra-Orthodox Jews. There are a bunch of anti-Zionists and ultra-Orthodox Jews, and there's a bunch of anti-Zionists in Reform Judaism.
I recall somewhat of a conflict like that in The Chosen, Chaim Potok. Chaim.
That's.
But that was ultra orthodox on the one hand and Hasidic on the other.
Well, also the point of that is just trying. I think a lot of that is just about trying to just the empathy and trying to find peace and trying to help because you hurt someone type thing. But that is also a very good movie.
I haven't seen the movie, I only read the book. It's been a while.
I have. To be fair, I've only seen the movie and never read the book. It's a very...
As I recall, it was the Hasidic rabbi was upset about the idea of Zionism. I think because he thought that he was a better Jew than the ultra-Orthodox main character's father, who was a Zionist. The story is ultra-Orthodox kid meets Hasidic family and...
accidentally hit a Jewish person accidentally hitting a Palestinian person in the eye in a baseball game.
Oh, they might have changed the story. Because there was a baseball game and the Hasidic boy hit the ultra-Orthodox Jewish boy in the face with the baseball. So they might have updated the story to better reflect the modern-day state of Zionism in Israel, rather than what Potok wrote about which I think was in the 50s.
Yeah, well, to be fair, I haven't seen that movie in forever, so I just remember it as being good, or whatever. It seemed like a good movie stuff. Now I'm just like, wait a minute, maybe I should rewatch movies.
See, there's also a Netflix TV show about Jesus called The Chosen.
Yeah, when I was Google searching The Chosen, it's like that's what I was like, wait, no, we're not talking about Jesus there. It's like, I guess The Chosen Jewish story or The Chosen Israel story?
See, The Chosen was a novel by Chaim Potok written in 1967. There's another novel by the same name from 1997. Another novel from 1999. Another book from sometime. Another novel. Bunch of TVs, a bunch of movies. Let's see. There's a 1981 film.
Okay, The Chosen has been used too many times, but it's not used as the title anymore. Joey said the justification used in order to continue colonization anywhere are most often religious to begin with, though it is easier to see atheist colonizers who have decolonized their thinking too. I mean, it's like why is the U.S. was so in favor of HMO, so in favor of the apartheid South Africa, the mining there as well too, and it would for white supremacists too. the USA was founded on a white supremacist project too. So white supremacists and other white supremacists had to get along in some way too, and that's I think part of the reason why we back the Israel forever. But like the main thing is, I think the main thing is like strategic as the worst, because like having just a base right there, right in the middle of that region,
it destabilizes the Middle East and allows us to continue the wall that we've built around the imperial periphery.
So not to mention oil. Don't forget that.
Yep. And Joe Biden, back when he was a senator, he said the quiet part out loud. You know, if there wasn't an Israel there, then we would have had to build one. That it was the best investment we'd ever made, is having an ally there like that.
See, Joe, you have to make up for like all the other bad Joes like Joe Biden. What do you have to say for yourself, fellow Joe?
Yeah, I'm really struggling about who to vote this next election, honestly.
My general opinion is, I think a lot of, I think there's this sort of live individualism, and also the attitude of change coming from above.
Yeah.
The person you vote for, almost 9 times out of 10, until there's significant change, is going to be someone who's just a stopgap to prevent worse things from happening. And then the stuff that you do outside of that is also just important. Basically, I try to think of things in just sort of what will reduce the most harm or whatever, and give enough time. Who can actually be pressured or whatever, and who's the best of bad options. But like, there's never going to be a good president.
No. In terms of like going over all the presidents, which of the presidents was not a white supremacist? I'd be willing to hear arguments about Obama, and that's about it. And I'm not confident about Obama.
Drone striking like weddings, and also like U.S. citizens, because like the target was like a suspected terrorist, or it's just like
all presidents are bastards, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, exactly. But it's just like. But I say, here's the thing: you should vote for Joe Biden, just so all the other fucking liberals will stop pestering you about who you're going to vote for. Because like,
I mean, he's better. Like, God, I fucking hate our political system. It's so terrible.
That's why change needs to be brought from the ground up and get people in like lower offices, but also you pressure people. Most Republicans don't care about their constituents and will do whatever, no matter how much pressure. Not every Republican, but most.
Well, I mean, the Republican base are white supremacists who don't care who gets hurt, or who don't care who gets rich, so long as the right people get hurt. And their money comes from psychopaths who don't care who gets hurt, so long as the right people get rich. So they're able to keep all their promises regardless. Get the rich richer and hurt brown people.
Yeah, but also they don't. Their constituency doesn't really matter to Republicans as much, in the sense that like you can pressure Democrats into.
You can guilt Democrats somewhat. Republicans have no shame.
I don't think it's really guilting them. I think it's just pressuring them in that they want to stay in office or whatever, and don't want someone else to take their place.
Well, And that has to be done by primary people out, but this is the capitalist system. You don't have democracy when you're on capitalism. So it's whoever is able to spend the most money to win the primaries is worth too. I personally don't have confidence in. I mean, if you can luckily get a few people in, but it's again, I go back to chapter 15 in Berkman's what is communism and anarchism, or the APC's anarchism. It's yeah, you can get one socialist in the parliament or Congress or the House of Representatives, so on and so forth, and they'll do that one grandstand incredible speech as it were too. Oh, and maybe they'll have that one protest vote as were too. But because of the other guys or the other side as it were too, they're most likely just going to be pressured into voting with the rest of the liberals that they're caucusing with as well too. So it's just having a few socialists in parliament or in Congress is not going to make much changes as well too. And so yeah, so
well, I'm not talking about representatives and senators are not people. I'm talking about governors, state senate, state representatives, because you need to build. You can put the most pressure on people lower in office, and you're supposed to build up. There's not
true. That's true.
Get from the ground up.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just you can't start with president. You're not actually.
That's why the Green Party is a fucking joke. That's all they ever run for.
True.
They never actually try to build any sort of anything.
Yeah. So yeah, and look, the Republican Party did a really good job building up their conservative base and the conservative pressure from the ground up. They did effective control for a while. It's just there's limits in terms of gerrymandering.
Yeah.
Wisconsin is at as much of those limits as possible.
Let's see. The bad stuff about Biden is never surprising. I'm honestly impressed by how much they got them through under him. Maybe I just have lower expectations than most. Yeah, Joe McClure, I have low expectations for Joe Biden too, as opposed, which is why I don't put a lot of hopes into someone like Joe Biden. So
he also does a really, really bad job of hyping himself.
Sure. That's also the Democratic Party in general. They do some really good things, but they barely take credit
about the talks between the railroad workers and the railroad execs, right? Mm-hmm. And how Biden got the railroad workers to back down and go back to work to keep the economy from shutting down before getting them any sort of any of the stuff they wanted. Did you hear that he later went and got them the stuff they wanted?
No, I didn't. No.
Yeah, he went and he sat down with the railroad execs and said, you need to give them what they were asking for, these paid holidays and things like that. And he got them what they wanted, but it made zero headlines.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Biden, I think he's actually a better president than Obama. He's less charismatic, but he's more effective. Mm-hmm. And he actually does kind of walk the walk about trying sometimes to do what liberals say they want to do. Trying not to give him too much praise.
Do you think I make a good president?
No. You're a nerd.
Okay, no. I'm trying to think. Wait, who's the nerdiest president that we ever had? Because you can't be a political nerd and definitely be in office as well. But you know what? Yeah, I'm trying it hard to try to imagine a nerdy president or someone who's the nerd in that kind of way. We frame it as not being as charismatic or too. Yeah, but then again, we got Joe Biden, who's not a charismatic president either.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, you could be... Well, first off, obviously, you could be charismatic and a nerd, technically. It's just...
Ryan Reynolds.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Vin Diesel, they begin to consider him charismatic.
Well, the thing is, Vin Diesel is essentially what
I think he's symmetrical and big
were.
and not charismatic.
The funny thing about Vin Diesel is this guy has two names that you can associate with cars.
He's Vin number Diesel.
And he got his like a big his first starring role in like Fast and the Furious, a movie about cars.
Actually, he was in a video game movie before that. Perfect Dark?
No, Pitch Black.
Riddick. Pitch Black, yeah.
Right.
And yes, he is a nerd. He plays Dungeons and Dragons.
He also was a giant too.
The thing is, Vin Diesel seems to put less effort over time. Has put less and less effort. Like,
the latest Fast and the Furious movies, he's just sort of walking through them.
Yeah, because if you see like, one of his super early roles, there's like a short that he did, a short film that Vin Diesel's in that's like really good, and then you have. And he was all right in Fast and the Furious. You can argue about how ridiculous the plot was of any Fast and the Furious, even the first one. But like,
I mean,
we don't watch Fast and Furious to plot, just like we don't watch pornos for like, why is the pizza delivery boy going to deliver that pizza?
But like, his acting was good in the original Fast and the Furious. He put effort into it. Like, you can. It just doesn't feel like he puts effort in.
Well, I mean, they've gotten so formulaic and so ridiculous and stupid. I think he doesn't care anymore. He knows it's a cash cow franchise, and honestly, it feels like he puts a hell of a lot more effort into playing Groot.
Exactly.
Here's the thing about Fast and Furious movies. They're good movies to watch high because you just watch the special effects, right? So. They're good movies to watch when you're drunk or stoned, but then after that,
yes, Joe P. He did the Vin Diesel bit. It was the movie we played in that. At least it doesn't take this so seriously. I do respect it like someone like that as well too.
Well, also Vin Diesel is Iron Giant.
Yes, he was voiced Iron Giant, but also like that short he did of the multi-facial. I think Steven Spielberg saw that short and that's when he decided to create a role specifically for Vin Diesel in Saving Private Ryan, which was kind of like his breakout role in the way too. Or basically, I think the big thing is that like he would play one of the private. He was the first one to die in like Saving Private Ryan of the group.
Well, he was brown, so that was natural. Velasquez always dies. That's how it goes.
Yes, who's Velasquez?
The first person to die in the Aliens movie, the sequel.
I knew the character. I just didn't know.
Basically, it's a trope from movies that you kill the person that the audience doesn't care about, and that means one of the secondary characters, which almost always means a brown person, because they're not the heroes. They're not the leading actor.
A woman, something like that.
So the black guy dies first in the horror franchise, and Velasquez dies first in Aliens.
Yep, Orlando Jones mentioned that in the Evolution. I seen this movie. The black guy dies first. You go pick up the alien.
Yeah. Although you've brought up Aliens, and now I can't stop thinking about. So, in Galaxy Quest, you have Sigourney Weaver always
repeats the computer.
The computer says. Yeah, I feel like that's the Colonel's role in Aliens, always repeating what Sigourney Weaver's character, what Ripley says, like 5 minutes earlier. The Colonel says it, and, like the command goes. What the Colonel's doing.
He beats her. I mean, let's face it, the Alien franchise is basically the woman says the thing, the dudes do not the thing, the dudes die, Sigourney lives. Oh, we lost the geek. Internet must have crapped out.
sorry, that imagery. I, I don't want that in my head. That whatever the meme was. But yeah, sorry, I'm looking at the screen for
The
what.
crybaby dudes.
Yeah, just like. But yeah, no, everything's. Yeah, no, it's easy for everything to. I'm already back on the Israel Palestine thing going on. I zoomed all the way back there.
We circle back around to the main point, and that's okay. We got distracted with Vin Diesel. It's like Israel Palestine. What should we know about this work?
So, if Israel and Palestine was a Fast and the Furious movie, that analogy is going nowhere fast. Hey.
Yeah, I've got that is going nowhere fast. No, it's just yeah, a lot of there are a lot of problems there, and there's a lot of understandably bad stuff, and yeah, there's a lot of propaganda. So it's and there's just a lot of stuff going on constantly on social media because every day is probably new bad stuff. I mean, they've already cratered a lot of North Gaza, but like I said, I don't know if the situations because there's underground tunnels. Last I heard, so it's just going to be a bad situation.
Wait,
for a long
tunnels?
time, probably.
I mean, my immediate thought went to weird old conspiracy theories about people living under the surface of the earth.
Oh no!
So I'm assuming that's
just,
not what you're talking about. I assume you're talking about tunnels that have been dug in and out of the restricted areas.
Well, that's the Denver airport.
Well, no, I just mean like in terms of Hamas and bunkering down and similar situation to what was going on in Iraq early or Afghanistan or something. One of the endless war countries. There's stuff that people do for survival, and that is part of the reason for protracted battles. And it, yeah, all I've heard is the situation is awful. Last I heard,
Yeah,
and is still presumably awful and could last for a while. And
I'm just always like reminded when people people like neuro like autistic folks, it's like, would it be a better world if we were in charge?
not necessarily.
there's Elon Musk. So it's like it depends.
Is he autistic or is he just an asshole?
Well, he's an asshole regardless. But there's like you
cosplaying to be autistic to garner like empathy or something. Because he may be doing that too.
Yeah, but I mean, there's plenty of people you can make. The thing is, you can make logical justification for awful things. It depends on what your morality is. If you don't see
there's probably autistic Nazis, maybe.
Yeah.
So maybe he's autistic and a Nazi. He's a Nazi.
He's an Nazi. I think at this point it's kind of hard to deny, but it's just nothing is ever simple because a lot of people have been conditioned into the general thought processes of the white supremacist aspects of culture that just sort of steeped in everywhere. And that takes work to undo. Which, I mean, that sucks, but like, essentially anyone can be a bad person.
Especially your mom. Everyone out there, your mom specifically.
Yeah, not my mom. My mom's a socialist, so.
If your mom watches Fox News, she's a bad person. Hate to break it to
you. Do socialists watch Fox News other than the hate watching? Compartmentalizing big. Sorry, Charlie says that compartmentalizing bigotry is something we do, like as a species, as we're awareness that we do. It helps to undo it as well too. That can
Yeah, that's it's like somebody described it. A bigot meets an anti-black bigot. Meets one black person they come to like and respect, and they put that black person in a special category. Then they meet a second, include them in the special category. Then a third, maybe a fourth, a fifth. Eventually they realize that every black person they're meeting can't be special. There's something wrong with the way they think about black people. And they have to undo that compartmentalization.
And that's easier for people, as we had mentioned before, who live in urban settings where there's a lot more diverse people around the area too. But and even Norm Chomsky knows this as well. But if you live out in rural places where it's just they don't hate that one black person that's in their town, Jordan or Tyrone or something like that. They're the neighbor. But they're the good people as well too. The black people they're talking about are people in Chicago, and again feeding into the propaganda that are fed through Fox News and other sources, where it's just oh, it's Chicago crime, which is, of course, we know is dog whistles for black people crime.
Mm-hmm. Urban means black. Sure. Urban is the new N-word.
But that's part of the reason why representation matters to some degree, because if all that's on TV and movies is black people being criminals, or the majority of TV and movies, that's what people who don't have black friends.
Those parasocial relationships matter.
Well, this is where I come in, because I'm that one black kid that puts all the white people at ease.
You're the special one, Isaiah.
And what it really is that, I feel like this is just how most black people are. They're not criminals. They're just normal fucking people.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Hell, the fucking criminals are probably the fucking rich white assholes in Wall Street.
They absolutely are. Those rich white assholes stole more in the lead up to 2008 than 1,000, 1,000,000, 1,billion black street criminals could ever hope to get away with.
Yeah, I'm if someone is fucking you out of your life savings, I think Tyrone grabbing a fucking iPhone out of a fucking store is okay.
Well, he's not going to grab an iPhone. He wouldn't be able to unlock it. He's going to grab a belt or a pair of pants.
Okay, shit.
There's a reason why the baby formula is behind glass at the grocery stores or something like that.
Because that's the stuff people need to steal. Most people who steal cars, they don't steal them to sell them to a chop shop or anything. They steal them so they can get a ride to work because they can't afford gas.
Well, unless you're jerks like the people in John Wick.
Okay, now that is a magic fantasy setting, and they're all white.
Also, yeah.
except for two guys. One of the guys in the second movie and the blind guy in the third one.
I have only seen the first one, and it was on a movie.
They are very amusing. They're very entertaining movies.
I said on a movie. On an airplane.
I recommend that you go ahead and pirate the series. It's enjoyable. And there's a reason it's getting a spin-off sequel or prequel, The Ballerinas, starring a chick. And I think it's getting a TV show starring Winston. That one's definitely a prequel.
Yeah, there is a Amazon Prime series that basically takes place in the universe of John Wick as well too. I've not seen the first one, only seen the second and third one, but I thought they were really good.
The thing is, part of the thing is it's the weird Hollywood thing with regards to stunt people, because it's at least with the first one was probably directed presumably mostly by Keanu Reeves, former
stunt guy. Yeah.
The stunt actor who worked with Keanu Reeves in The Matrix or whatnot, directed a lot of John Wick, but someone else's name has to be put as like the primary director, even if they only directed a little type thing. And surprisingly, stunt actors know how to direct stunt work. It's a strange
Imagine
thing.
that.
Yeah.
John Wick was created by Derek Kolstad, who is a writer rather than a stunt guy. But probably the director was someone
I was thinking
else.
about the director, because I thought the director was the stunt guy first.
I'm looking this up right now.
Directed by Chad Stahelski, who is a stuntman. Yeah. Stuntman, stunt coordinator, second-rated unit director. Who co-directed John Wick alongside someone else.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean, John Wick is basically... it's a spiritual successor to Smokey and the Bandit. Which was also created by a stuntman. Only that was a stuntman who did car chases rather than gun stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recall, I could swear like an inspiration for the movie was someone breaking into ex-special forces person.
Some people broke into a home in Spain and tied up the woman they found there. Then they looked at the pictures on the mantle and ran the fuck away because they realized they'd broken into Dolph Lundgren's home.
But I thought there was like some of the story for John Wick was based off of.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Some people who killed like a Navy SEAL's dog or like some Spec Ops guy's dog or whatever, and the guy like chased him across like a couple counties and got him beat him up and got him arrested or something.
No. Kolstad said that the inspiration came from 2 terrible revenge movies he watched, so probably not based on anything real.
Okay, but either way.
So he probably watched a couple of Charlie Bronson films.
Yeah, that's what. Which is just like a kind of like dad fiction. I was about to say dad porn. No, that's something else. Dad fiction is the word. Cause like,
murder porn. It's what it is. It's racist murder porn. Is Charlie Bronson.
Yeah, it's like glorified vigilantism and it's like yeah, there's problems with that.
Yeah, at least with John Wick, kind of, at least the first one, kind of part of the thing is he wasn't a great person.
No, he was. They build up the mythos throughout the entire thing, is that it's sort of this magical underworld of just basically terrible people.
Yeah.
They don't pretend they're the good guys. It's just that they're amazing, unstoppable badasses. And John Wick is the boogeyman of this magical underworld.
Yeah.
I wrote a thing for my blog, God, who knows how long ago, talking about how John Wick is kind of... Yeah. On Blogspot. The last thing I wrote, I think, was talking about John Wick, the franchise, how John Wick is kind of an anarchist hero. How the conflict of the trilogy, at least, is the conflict between loyalty and friendship on the one hand versus the rules and authority on the other. And John Wick represents loyalty and friendship, and he manages to overcome by allowing himself to be sacrificed in order to take down the authorities.
Mm-hmm.
That must be other movies. The other.
The first one is a straight up revenge film. Yeah.
The first one is straight up revenge film. Yeah.
But I mean, the fact is though that there's also, it's about the fact that the bad guys, the main bad guys, they have the authority, but he's coming after them strictly because they broke a code. You don't kill a dude's dog. That's not cool. You don't steal a dude's car. The dude was petty, and when he goes into when the bad guy, the young bad guy Yosef in the first film, goes in to get the car chopped, the guy recognizes the car, punches him, and says no, because he has that personal loyalty to John.
Leguizamo.
Yes, John Leguizamo. And also in that film, Willem Dafoe goes out of his way. He pretends to take the contract on John, but instead helps John from a distance because John's his friend.
Well, he made sure it was an open contract.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Which is different from a closed contract. An open contract only matters if
You're
he
right.
actually kills.
So he was being duplicitous, but only a little bit.
I actually still gotta watch the John Wick movies, actually.
They're a lot of fun.
They're good.
They are white guy toxic masculinity up to 11.
Not ashamed of it too, but also not like glorifying it too.
I'm gonna be honest. I think that's probably why I haven't seen it, because it's like I don't really like.
There's not enough white girls.
No, I just don't like toxic. Really.
No, I wouldn't describe it that way. I mean, the first film starts off with him, like the main character's crying a lot at the start of the film or whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I mean, that's one of the only times a man is allowed to cry is over the death of a wife or a child or his dog. But at the same time, there is some emotional honesty there. Like the fact that he recognizes that the dog was a gift from a wife that will allow him to grieve. And that's why he's so upset. I mean, he openly says that to Yosef's father, whatever the guy's name is. He says, the dog was a gift from my wife that would allow me to grieve unalone, and your son killed that from me.
Yeah, and like...
So it's not too toxic, except for the fact that he's murdering his way across New York.
Well, yeah, but I mean, to be fair, he's not doing a good thing. He just has no reason to do good stuff. He doesn't have as much reason to do good stuff anymore. So, because a lot of that was because his wife made him a better person.
Mm-hmm. And there is a hint, something that shows up in the second and third movies. There are hints that not Charon, that was the doorman or the bellman, the front desk guy. Winston, the manager of the New York Continental. There's a hint that he's John's adopted father. Hence their closer than normal relationship. That's not something that shows up at all in the first movie, and it's only slightly hinted at in the second and third movies.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the first one's not some sort of, extra good for it's revenge. It's revenge and fighting.
It's the first one is much more straightforward. It's much more just a normal sort of, this is an underworld, but it's not a magical underworld. It's just a mobs kind of thing. The second and third ones really play up the magical realism aspect of it, and they bring in the Assassin's Creed stuff.
That's kind of weird.
Well,
I mean, they really lean into the magical aspects in order to create a broader mythos. It's an interesting trilogy.
Well,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing with the first one is everything. The starting plot is just an excuse for you to hate the villain, so that like nothing that because the main character is not a good person or whatever, but like you don't care.
He's
That he's
paying
not
evil
a
unto
good
evil.
person.
You're allowed to
Yeah.
root for this guy because they killed his fucking dog. Not just a dog, they killed a puppy. For no fucking reason, they killed a puppy.
Yeah, days after his wife's death.
Mm-hmm.
A puppy gifted to him by his former wife, or his
By his deceased wife.
His deceased wife who had died like not
of
that
breast
long
cancer
before, like it was days after his wife was buried or whatever. So it's just like, I mean, it's tongue in cheek.
Mm-hmm.
So,
It is the entire series is very aware of what it is and what it's doing,
yeah.
which is part of why it's so good. It's like the Librarian series, which is just a series of schlocky made-for-TV movies that are just turn all the typical action tropes on their head by having the main character not be James Bond, but be his nerdy chick sidekick, except it's a dude with an action girl sidekick.
Well, and the thing is, I think if it was more if it was more unironic, it'd be a lot easier to buy into the toxic masculinity argument. I think if it took itself too seriously, it would definitely be very toxic.
It would be the guys whining in the corner of the screen. Instead, it's kind of making fun of those guys. By pointing out that in order for them to live their dreams, they would have to live in this absurd, extreme, impossible universe.
Yeah, and the weird thing is that I don't understand is why is the manosphere so obsessed with Keanu Reeves, who has always been very hardcore for queer rights or whatever.
It's kind of like actually.
He can grow a very good beard.
But there's that. But like also, Mithril kind of mentioned like Taylor Swift, and like just like Taylor Swift has been like, I'm not sure how pro LGBTQIA plus she is. I think she just passed the like bare minimum of the decent human being.
I think she's a fairly progressive liberal. She doesn't talk out too much just because she's a celebrity and she knows that it's better not to talk too much.
Right.
But
exactly.
she is a pretty progressive liberal, I think.
So basically, she's not like super radical and won't be like accomplices for.
She's not
like,
a leftist,
right?
But she's better than Biden. Not as good as Bernie.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So that's good. But yet, that was enough for like the fascists and reactionaries in her fan base to just like denounce her because like if it worked for.
We gotta remember Taylor Swift started out kind of like as like she started off kind of like as a country singer, so of course they
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a child of rich parents who tried to start out as a country singer, then segued into pop. She's exactly. Talented. She knows what she's doing. She's never pretended, I think, to be anything else, though. So
to be honest, and I actually have a personal connection to her music. So I was homeless one time. And I was in a homeless shelter, and I remember someone had her song 15. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you posted this recently on Facebook.
Yeah, I know. So maybe you should read it.
I did. That's why I remember. But go ahead and tell your anecdote. You were homeless and somebody.
Yeah, someone had that on their phone as a ringtone. So that's kind of how I got into kind of music. I wouldn't say I'm a Swiftie, but I'm a casual fan.
Yeah.
You know, she puts out some pretty good music.
She's technically very talented. She does some girl boss kind of stuff. She strikes me as kind of a 90s girl power kind of feminist, not too revolutionary in that way.
There's still enough to like piss off the reactionaries in her fan base. That's like, Is they buy all of our posters and all who are like merchandise and all of our Taylor Swift albums and something like that and burn it all. And it's just like you could have just like stopped buying her stuff.
You know that
burn them.
You burn her, like she still got your money, dude.
Yeah, I tend to assume a lot of celebrities are, or a decent amount of celebrities are liberal just because of
Yeah.
the culture. I mean, like, it wouldn't surprise. Like, John Cusack's probably like a leftist, based on what he's tweeted in the past.
I mean, it's hard to say because for every John Cusack and Taylor Swift, there's James Woods and what's his
Tim
name
Allen.
from Die Hard, Tim Allen and Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis.
There are a lot of conservative celebrities.
Yeah.
Don't forget John Voight, that crazy motherfucker. He like I don't know how him and his daughter get along. I don't know how that works.
They do not. They don't talk. As far as she's concerned, she's not his daughter. I'm assuming you said John Voight. It was a little bit muddled on my end.
Yeah,
but,
John Voight. Voight.
He and Angelina Jolie, they don't talk. They are completely. She has nothing to do with the man. Her.
Don't forget Roseanne Barr, who's a pizza gator as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I mean, there are plenty of. I hate calling them conservatives because they're not conservatives. Democrats are conservatives. There are plenty of fascist celebrities like John Woods.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Bruce Willis. I know he voted for Bush and he was supported the Iraq War. I don't know if I'd be willing to call him a fascist, partly because he's now suffering mental illness these days.
You gotta remember too, like we're like the way like the thing about like our politics is that it's explained to it's very reactionary, which is very good for like people who don't know what's going on because all they understand is like force. Like, oh, we got attacked, so I guess we should attack them.
And we don't get decent explanations. And of course, I mean, the Republicans rely on useful idiots.
Just fuck nuance, right?
Yeah, well, that's also when like we're not when the media is not educating us on like what's going on in like Israel Palestine, as where people even stateside viewers would think like, oh, it's just like a religious conflict going on for thousands of years. So it's like, no, there wouldn't have been a conflict, and the state of Israel was not created in 1948 and forcing millions of Palestinians, 93% of Palestinians, out of their homes into a very tight space in like West Bank and Gaza Strip.
And it forced a lot of them to flee, to become refugees in Jordan and
Egypt,
Libya,
and Syria.
I'm gonna disagree with some of that because like it may not be a religious conflict to the people who are there, but in the U.S., especially in the American South, it is a religious conflict.
Well, that's just because of Christian Zionists.
Right.
Exactly.
Well, because, I mean, if Israel doesn't exist, then the Antichrist can't come back and kill all the Jews. Because that's what they want.
Yeah.
If you've read...
Christian Zionism's nuts.
Oh my God, I want to be the black Antichrist. Oh, honey.
Oh, all black people are Antichrist.
Anyway. Oh, cool. Well, shit, I'm right.
But yeah, you read the Left Behind series, oh my God, it's murder porn. The description of the Antichrist killing Jews. It's.
I need a white cat that I can stroke and talk like, yeah.
Oh, okay, typical black man talking about white pussy. I get it.
Aren't you glad to show off on the dark?
Look, I like all sorts of pussy, so like the important thing is.
And he wants a fluffy pussy, so.
Oh my.
I make no apologies. Like John Wick, I am all in.
Dirty motherfucker.
I had a thought, but I'm keeping it to myself.
Well,
After you said going all in, it's like, nope, don't continue on. Don't express it either.
Okay, fine. A nice distraction. John Wick, technically at the end of the first John Wick movie, rescues a dog who was going to get euthanized or whatever. So,
yep. And he keeps that dog for the next 2 movies.
Nice.
Yeah, he does.
Even though
he boards it with the Continental in the second film, and I believe he gifts it to Winston in the third.
Can I ask a question? Like, even though I'm not gay, is it possible to have a gay crush on Keanu Reeves?
Yes.
It's possible to have a thoroughly platonic straight crush on Keanu Reeves because he's just kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, there's a lot of romance and sexual attraction are not broken down well or whatnot, because there's aesthetic attraction, there's platonic attraction, there's romantic attraction, there's sexual attraction, and there's all that, like, you can,
and there's bromance.
Yes, absolutely. There's romance. I mean, also, like, it's like Joey Ninja said on like our 1 or 11 episode, we're talking about the asexuality, is that Joey can understand that Jason Momoa is symmetrical.
But I mean, it's like the Shawshank Redemption.
What is symmetry?
The Shawshank Redemption is a romance between Andy Dufresne and Red, except that it's not romantic love. It is just 2 men becoming best friends over the course of 20 years, becoming life partners, and staying together for the rest of their lives. It is a romance that doesn't have any hint of homoeroticism or homoromantic love. It is pure platonic love.
Now, if you want homoeroticism, there's a bunch of 80s action movies and Top Gun that you can see.
And the 300, but...
Well, 300 is fascist propaganda, so it's just like...
It's homoerotic fascist propaganda, but...
Yeah, to be fair, so this is the problem with neoliberalism. You end up with movies like 300 directed by Zack Snyder, who doesn't, like, see how it's propaganda and does, like, want the homoeroticism. He's like,
I don't understand Zack Snyder, like, at all.
Well, no, it's because the end result of neoliberalism is a bunch of fascist stuff, and I think he is... That part of the problem with neoliberalism is that it's not as different as people think it is, or whatever. And I think Zack Snyder is a useful idiot, or whatever, who doesn't understand why people are using his work to justify stuff that he doesn't agree with.
Maybe he would. You never know.
I think he's kind of like Michael Bay in that way.
Well, he has stated about, like, how he wanted there to be, like, gay romance in the third 300 film, and how he wanted, like, he cares about, he does.
Was that supposed to, like, make gay people see the film more?
I think he's just he hits a sort of cognitive dissonance and doesn't realize it. Like, it's different because, like, Justice League is a good example of the differences in, like, attitudes. The first one, all women are, like, a lot more objectified. Zack Snyder showed a lot more, like, strong Amazonian women or whatever. I think he genuinely wants to do the right thing, he's also just an idiot.
I kind of get that feeling about Schneider too.
Yeah, he is a useful idiot or whatever, and I think his stuff, because there's also like a lot of nationalism in America, and I think he's down for the nationalism, the military thing, probably some elements of toxic masculinity, but I think
he strikes me as the stupid Aaron Sorkin. He's an idealistic liberal, but he's not very intelligent. That's what I think of him. It's kind of the feeling I get trying to look at him. And that's why it's so easy for him to play into fascist bullshit with things like the 300.
Yeah.
And creating rape porn at the end of the movie starring John Hamm. Baby Doll?
I don't know. I don't actually know.
That one movie. Sucker Punch.
Sucker Punch, yes. Where the main character gets lobotomized, and then the guy who lobotomized her does penis things to her. And says, I think she wanted it. And I think we're supposed to think that wasn't rape?
I don't know, because, like, I legit can't. Like I said, I don't know. And to be fair, I also don't know Zack Snyder super well. I just know that he's called out some of, like, the manosphere type shit before.
That's actually kind of news to me, honestly.
I mean, that's nice to hear. I like that.
Happened. Yeah, because, like, see, this is my problem, right? Like, I can't remember all the details, but, like, from everything I've heard, that seems to be the case, and also, there's just less objectification in the Snyder cut, and it's
that's a problem that Joss Whedon has had.
Yeah, because Joss Whedon had, like, unnecessary, like, you know, shots focusing on Wonder Woman's ass or whatever.
To be fair, though, what's his name? Snyder also did a little bit of that in Batman vs. Superman.
I don't.
There was brief stuff like focusing on a crotch shot of Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman was rolling on the ground during the final fight, things like that. It wasn't a lot, but it was there.
I'm sure it. I'm sure it was. It was just the Joss Whedon stuff became way more noticeable.
Well, I mean, Joss Whedon had a very big impact on the final cut of that film, Justice League.
Well, he reshot, like, a lot of stuff because he wanted to make it his own.
Yeah, he's an egomaniac and a bully. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Yeah, and there wasn't a Snyder cut of Justice League, and as it were, because there wasn't enough of principal photography that was, like, left in need for there to be a final product, which is why Josh Whedon had to, like, come in and finish the project as well too. But yet the Snyder fanboys were saying, "Release the Snyder Cut, release the Snyder Cut," and we finally did. That 4-hour-long movie that, like, was just like to get more people to, like, buy the movie
to get the incels to buy again. And Joe, I don't want to say that Snyder had anything to do with making Rorschach a tragic hero. His vision for Watchmen was a shot for shot, panel for panel recreation of the comic with very, very few changes. Fanboys reading way too much into Rorschach, I don't think was Snyder. I think it was just a problem with the original comic, with neckbeards and not understanding what the fuck Alan Moore was trying.
Well, and I assumed Snyder was trying to do the complex, everyone's complex type thing, so like it's probably easier to get that impression or whatnot with the Snyder version of that. This is what I'm saying. Like he's a useful idiot.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is, Rorschach is for the most of the story of Watchmen. He is the viewpoint character. He's the narrator. So it's really easy to sympathize with him, even though Moore definitely didn't sympathize with him. Moore being a magical anarchist. And Rorschach being a far right wing piece of shit, who Moore very subtly compared to a mindless monster.
Yeah.
There was the interwoven, not in the movie but in the comics. There's the secondary, the B story of the Black Ship, the comic book within the universe, where a guy is fleeing the Black Ship. He's on a raft, and for part of it, he's chased by a shark, a mindless killing machine, like Rorschach. And he eventually kills the shark and keeps himself alive by eating its meat, by eating the raw shark. And at the end, when Rorschach sends his journal into the far right wing self-published newspaper, whatever, he tries to call, and the guy can barely hear him. He says, "What? Raw shark? Raw shark?" He's deliberately creating the parallel between Rorschach and the shark, a monster that gets itself killed because it won't stop trying to devour this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I don't blame Snyder for that, because a lot of fans were way too into Rorschach even before the movie came out because they didn't get it.
And obviously, that's not to say that Snyder is being
He's
a
not
useful
blameless.
idiot is its own problem,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure there's a bunch of problems with from outside of like how easy they're used for fascist propaganda, regardless of his intent, because neoliberalism leads to fascism. So.
Owlman did cry over his death in the comics. The scene where Rorschach screams at Manhattan to kill him. I mean, like I said, it's a panel-for-panel recreation of the comic. The music was, of course, Snyder's choice. And his journal being found by the right-wing magazine, again, was also in the comic. And you're right, they did cut the racist bullshit for time. He was a much more vicious, he was much more of a white supremacist, Rorschach was in the comics. So that is a change that Snyder made that made him more sympathetic. You're right about that. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, but like also Snyder, like got along and tried to have the cyborg actor in the film. There's like in the cut of the Justice League, and there's a huge problem with Joss Whedon in that person. So it's like
Whedon is a bully and a thug and kind of a piece of shit all around. I'm not surprised to learn that he was also racist and misogynist on set.
I think I agree with you, Joe. I think like Snyder just doesn't understand why like Rorschach isn't a bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a useful idiot, but this is why. This is, to be fair, this is probably part of the reason why he doesn't. He isn't doing something so bad that he doesn't get any support, but he's not. There are worse people out there, but
he's not Ben Shapiro.
Yeah.
There's a reason I keep on comparing him to Michael Bay. They're both successful directors who are very, very good at the visual side of making movies, but who are terrible at the story and who don't understand why some people are bad people, including themselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Michael Bay's like in movies are interesting. I like The Island, honestly, but it's just like, uh,
Yeah.
I have a soft spot in my heart for Armageddon. I'm gonna be
of
honest.
course you do. It has Liv Tyler in it.
No, no,
I'm joking.
stupid. Like his movies are definitely very visual in a lot of ways. Sometimes they
Yeah,
kind of corny.
but even like trying to do the visuals something like that, like Michael Bay is kind of like a terrible in that like the focus, the audience, the focal points in the scene kind of like shifted all the way around. So like you almost have like a Disney effect, or like don't remember what's going on.
It's
Like,
visually a nightmare in so many ways.
Yeah.
It's big, but it's impossible to focus because the focus point of every single shot is all over the place. It's noise. He creates noise.
Right.
But for Armageddon, it gives us Michael Clark Duncan dancing on a table in a leopard print thong.
I hope you know your face for a big, overweight black man, John.
Michael Clark Duncan was a wonderful, beautiful man, taken from us far too soon.
But this is why George Miller or whatever, the action he directs is always like way better and way simpler.
Yeah, exactly. Because
it's just all center shot, like all the action is in the center of the film.
Mad Max, yeah. I mean, it's Mad Max doesn't really have a story, but it's so easy to follow the fucking story.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's because Fury Road specifically, he wanted to make it so even if it was a silent film, you'd understand what's going on.
Actually, wasn't Fury Road directed by Mexican or Hispanic guy? It was produced by Miller. Produced by Miller. I think it was directed by. I want to say it was someone else.
No,
director's George Miller.
Oh, it was okay. Oh.
That was like George Miller wanted to do that as his like swan song. Sorry, that's why he did like Happy Feet before, in order to like get paid get like yes, Hollywood, I'll do your like Happy Family films. Yeah, no problem, I can do that. So it's just like, can I do this project though? You know what? We trust you enough. You've done like enough for us. Like, yeah, go off and like do this sort of thing too. Yeah, make another Mad Max film. It's just like, I mean, War War was good. Yeah, sure, go ahead, like go out. Like we'll let you do your own thing, and it worked out.
Dad Boys would be an excellent movie. What? Oh shit! No, I mean just the name. Oh, what kind of movie would that be? Would it be Man-Child, or would it be Daddy's Boys? A couple of kids. Ooh.
No, Dad Boys would be the grown-ups, where there's just old like dads, but they're just men-child.
I could see that going either way. Oh,
sure.
They pair up. A pair of older guys and a pair of younger guys, and the older guys realize they need to finally grow the fuck up. It's a road trip kind of movie. It's like The Hangover.
Oh God, The Hangover. I did enjoy that as a movie as a comedy, as it were, too. But then the director says that like, oh, you can't do comedy anymore in like Hollywood, and so the Joker.
Fucking Tim Allen, piece of shit, motherfucker.
Was that Tim Allen that did The Hangover?
No, I'm just saying he's like Tim Allen in that he's a masculine
you can't.
Piece of shit.
Yeah. You can't do comedy anymore. It's like, no, you just don't be a jerk and don't punch down.
I didn't even know Tim Allen was even a conservative, in my opinion.
Oh, have you never seen a single episode of the Rock Show?
Tool Time. No, Home Improvement.
He is. The entire show is a pushback against PC culture. It's, oh my God, it's awful.
Yeah, I've seen him in Home Improvement, but that's about it.
That is the show. That's where it's like Tim Allen is just like being.
Men don't understand women because men are men. Rah, 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 rah. It's his stand-up routine turned into a 7-season fucking piece of shit.
You guys want
Yeah.
to got from Comic-Con yesterday?
Sure. Yeah, share with us.
Okay. I don't know if you guys saw my Facebook posts about it.
Maybe I did.
Might have
Here's
seen one or two.
so I got this X-wing fighter for 30.
Ooh.
Oh, you're playing with dolls. Okay.
Yes, and that's a vertical. Okay.
The helmet comes off.
Nice.
Is that Luke?
I want to say it's I you know I think it's the guy from like on
Hoth?
I don't think it's Luke. It's the guy who was in the
Wedge
speeder.
at Neely's?
It could be
Oh,
Wedge. It could be Biggs. It could be Luke. Those are. It could be Porkins. He's not fat enough for Porkins.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say.
It may be Biggs. Okay, so it's from the scene from
No, Biggs had a mustache, so it's probably not Biggs.
So
Yes. Hold on. Put the helmet closer to the camera. I can sometimes tell by the helmet.
Take the helmet off.
This is Wedge.
Yeah, that's Wedge. That's Wedge.
Yeah, that's Wedge.
That's Wedge.
okay, cool.
Hey, he survived all the way to like the Return of the Jedi and became Red Leader. So
Actually, I believe he survived into the post-Republic era, and I think he was working with. Oh no, never mind. That's the fat Asian guy. I was thinking of the guy who was working with Zeb in The Mandalorian. The guy with the beard who lets Mando get away. Mandalorian's good.
And he got
Oh, hey! You're a ghost hunter.
Nice.
FBI.
Female body inspector.
I got
No.
Oh, there's enough of that in the TSA. Hey, we don't need any more. And many trans people have like been stopped and like been it's just like can we just not? Well, we've been like ramping on for like 90 minutes.
Yeah.
It was on topic.
I think we have fully explained movies and Zack Snyder and Israel and Jews. I think we have solved all of those.
and I got this one too.
Wait, what are you talking about? You're talking about solving the Jews? What the hell?
Well, I'm not saying we came up with a final solution, but you know.
No.
Bad John.
I
No,
make no
bad
apologies,
man.
even though I probably should.
Don't make me get out the spray bottle.
This made this up, by the way.
What?
Were you in Vauncey, John?
I don't know who Vauncey is.
That's the Vauncey conference where the final solution.
Oh, no. I have never been to Germany.
Okay.
That's.
I've never been to Germany.
Anywhere, but I study history because I'm a dorky American and I like history.
And that's why you'll never be president.
Unlike most Americans.
Hey, I pay attention to history. I just didn't know that specific detail.
Yeah, I had no idea. I never heard of that before.
So yeah,
We're 90 minutes in, and we have proposed the final solution. So let's go ahead and shut this down.
No, you have proposed that.
John
Brockman. I used to have a spray bottle now just to spray at you. Pat Brockman. You already have a cat avatar. You know it's bound to happen one day.
Screw you, I sit where I won't.
and Zay Taylor has like a Terminator 2 comic. That's looks cool. So Osmo in the Dark, where can people find you if they want to like follow up on like the kind of stuff that you do or you're up to as well?
Currently, I'm sorting out mental health stuff and other stuff. So I'm just like, I have a YouTube channel. I haven't posted anything for slightly over a year. The last thing I posted was on my channel was how Outlast accidentally made me a better person or whatever, which was just that Outlast accidentally humanized people in mental asylums and made them not scary anymore. even though that was part of the horror element of the game. So that video is that video's on my channel. I'm kind of avoiding social media at the moment, so I'm not even motivated to promote social media. Just yeah.
And like the Fluid Voice is currently on hiatus, but like people can check out the like past shows.
Yes. And I'm still working on potentially setting up. Hopefully, I can finish setting up so I can do immigration news, because there are still camps in America, so
Yep.
Internment / concentration camps.
Yeah. No, that is. I was just using shorthand because I'm tired and I didn't want to try to. I didn't know which word to pick. I felt like picking or whatever, the actual thing or how it's described more colloquially by government officials. I almost wanted to say internment camps. I don't think that's how the government officials describe it.
They won't describe it like that.
No, I don't think they call them camps at all. I think they call them facilities.
Detention facilities?
Something like that.
Yeah, the ones where you can get you are arrested first, and then they check to see if you're a citizen later.
And Isaiah Taylor, you have your 2 YouTube channels: the Sinister Intelligence YouTube channel and the Autistic Modeling Society, and your Instagram of IsaiahTaylor.60.
Yes.
And
you're checking your phone, so I assume that you're playing like Candy Crush or something.
No, I'm just trying to get.
He's just updated his Facebook, as we're. So check it, because like he's sharing like all the cool things that like got from Comic-Con, as we're. And I'm Summer Geek on YouTube, even though I haven't posted anything in months either as well. And like, and now I'm working 7 days a week, as we're maybe, or like occasionally coming in on Sundays as well as working 6 days a week. Who knows? But like I do kind of Twitch streams when I'm not working on Sundays as well. So they check me out on like YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Blue Sky, Tumblr, co-hosts, and all those other things. John Bruckman, you're part of another podcast, aren't you?
Indeed, I am. Dungeons and Debacles. We do a D&D podcast, and it's fun. I'm a dragonborn. Ruff, 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 ruff.
Nice. Yes, and with all that, yes, definitely remember to check out the Charity Leagues page in case you have like extra money. Give it to like Joey, to Phoenix, or to like Joanna. Don't forget to hydrate and medicate. And like, I'm ready to sign off. Take care, all.
Bye, everybody. Bye. You can't see me waving, but I'm waving.
Sweet. Bye.
I'm waving too, even though you can't see it.